So, yeah, usually don't film during this time because it's 2:24 a.m. But when I woke up yesterday morning, I was very happy because I was very happy about my future. And I thought things were going to be okay. I thought things were going to be excellent, and and of course, I was like, well, they'll probably be great as long as I don't get my family involved. But I made one little slip up, and I decided to message my family and say that I was thinking about doing something. And I was saying that I was thinking about leaving where I lived. I live in a room. It's like $500 a month. But my friend that is coming to visit me, that person's going to be staying here for a long time. So it's like, well, why don't I just get a place with that person and get like a house for like $1,000 or like $1,100, and that way I could get out of this room and I could have my own place and all that other stuff. So I decided to write that to my mom, and she immediately became controlling and abusive and gaslighting and manipulative and saying all these things like I couldn't do it, and it wasn't just a big mistake, it was a huge mistake, and I wasn't thinking, and she controls my money, and I think that when we have what we have, like, everything is going to be okay in your life as long as you shut the fuck up and you don't make waves. But the second you want to grow or do things for you or be happier, people immediately tell you you can't do it. Because they don't think that you're mature enough, or you're still a child somehow because you have this mental illness, or you're borderline, or you're bipolar, and you can't handle life yet, and you never will be. And because we have these disorders, or these mental illnesses, will always be looked at like less of or less than, even though we could be very loving, play by the rules, we could be nice people, but none of those things really matter, because people will always see us as these little tiny things that can't handle anything and that aren't ready for real life yet, or will always make the wrong mistakes, always make the wrong choices, not smart, not capable, not good with money. So they always feel like they need to control us, they need to control our money, they need to control every aspect about our lives. One of the reasons why we have borderline personality disorder is because we most likely come from controlling families, or neglectful families, or abusive families. And then when we get diagnosed and we get on SSI, and we're just struggling to make it in our 20s, our 30s, our 40s, our 50s, the people in our life are still trying to control us. And they're still trying to tell us that we can't do certain things, or we're not capable of doing certain things. And I found the best way to handle that is just to accept it. Because we are obviously fucked up because we come from those controlling families in the first place. And they're never going to change. They're always going to see us as lesser than. They're always going to want to try to control us. You know, and it's so sad because all I want to do is love people. But all they ever do is just try to control me, or treat me like shit. Or they take the actions or the events from the past and they hold them over my head. And they use them as leverage. Or they use them as like, oh my God, you were this fucking awful person in the past. Or like, yeah, you tried to do that 5 years ago, but it didn't work. They're not supportive at all. My family, shit sure is not, they're not supportive at all. I wish they would be. Like, what would it have taken for my mom to be like, oh yeah, I mean, like, that could work. Yeah, well, you know, it might be a struggle, but, you know, if you want to grow and be happier, you know, I'll support you, I'll be there for you. No, it wasn't like that. It was her bashing on me and her telling me I can't do it. And she became incredibly controlling. And at the end of the message, she was just like, I'm hanging up the phone now. Like, I'm shutting my phone off. Like, she didn't even want me to respond. She was just like, this is my point. This is the way. This is me saying what is going to happen. I'm shutting my phone off. Case closed. And I'm like, yep, that's my mom. That's what I've been dealing with for the last 42 years. And it's like, so we're constantly being controlled. And, you know, if we didn't have what we have, if we didn't have borderline personality disorder, bipolar, you know, all the mental illnesses that we have, I doubt our parents would do that to us. Our parents just pretty much see us as incapable of being able to live. They think we can't do things because we have these mental illnesses, even though they were the ones that most likely created these mental illnesses because of their neglect, their control, and their abuse, and the trauma they caused because of all three. And all we want to do is love people and receive love. That's it. I woke up this morning and it was probably like around 1:45, and I knew it was 1:45. I didn't even have to look at the clock. And before I went to bed, I knew I was going to wake up at 1:45 with like nightmares and like trauma nightmares and like Carl Jungian dreams. And yeah, it all happened. I was like in some pond and there was this alligator in a Coke bottle, and the alligator in the Coke bottle was like following me. And I jumped on this patio type porch to get away from the alligator. And the alligator was just waiting for me. And then I just had to jump back in the water and swim for the other side of the land for the alligator to not get me. And then I woke up and I started to analyze the dream. It was a very Jungian dream. Carl Jung. And I was like extremely homicidal towards my mother because all I want to do is be happy, and she won't allow me to be happy because she's so controlling. And you know, maybe she has every right to be controlling because like I'm incapable. And that's what I've been told since I was born. And if you've been told that enough times, you start to believe it. The only thing that really makes me homicidal is when people try to control me, or when people take advantage of me, or when people judge me. And my mother does all three. So, and she did all three on the phone to me last night before I went to bed. So I woke up and I was trying to get back to bed, and I got very angry at my mother, and I was just like I was like, just go back to bed. And I was like, dude, you're too angry. You're not going to be able to sleep again. And then, like, I visualized my mother telling me, like I imagined her arriving today in a car and, like, telling me off about how I couldn't do things and how she was in control of my money and she had, this and this and that, and I wasn't capable of doing things. Then I pictured taking a knife and slitting her throat. And it made me so goddamn happy that I was just like, I'm gonna slice your fucking throat. And then I took a pillow and I fucking, like, slammed the goddamn pillow. And then I got out of bed and I just fucking slammed something. I was like, God damn it. But I wasn't, it was more, like, fucking insanely aggressive than that. Because I'm just sick of it, man. I'm just sick of being controlled and told that I can't do things. And, if my family watched this video right now, they'd be like, well, you can do things because you're, fucking you, and you've got all these fucking issues. And, of course, yeah, because they have this long history with me. And no matter how much I change or try to grow, they'll always hold me down. They'll always try to control me because they don't want to see me grow. They want to keep me in this fucking little box. Just stay in your fucking room. Just pay the $500 a month. Be safe. Just live in that fucking room for $500 a month, even though you're kind of unhappy. Just, because don't tempt fate because you're on SSI, and God forbid if you left and you moved out and it didn't work out, where would you go? You'd be homeless, and we wouldn't want to take you in because we don't love you enough. We wouldn't want to live with you, even though, we're your family. They don't want to live with me because they don't really love me. They're just... That's the thing about family. They say that they love you, but they don't really like you. And if you have done things to them in the past that were bad, and you've changed, they'll never see that change. They'll just see you from the past, and they'll harbor that resentment. Because they most likely haven't healed yet, and you're trying to heal. But you'll never heal unless you fucking get the fuck away from your family. That was a good way to end it. Alright guys, have a great night tonight. Peace.